So discussion about the Nintendo Switch has been on fire for the last couple of days as a very interesting article came out which is getting a lot of people discussing about how Nintendo feels about the current Nintendo Switch and what they're going to be planning moving forward. There's a lot of different opinions that people have about it, so I figured we'd take a look at it inside of this video and then we could talk a little bit more about it. Alright, so here we are on Nintendo Life where it says here, Nintendo will reportedly boost Switch production in 2023. The Switch is still selling like there's no tomorrow, and it seems Nintendo won't be slowing down production anytime soon. According to a new report from Bloomberg, the Kyoto-based video game giant actually plans to increase production of the hybrid machine in its 6th year after shifting roughly 21 million systems in the previous fiscal year. Although it lowered its sales forecast to 19 million last November, the company is now apparently convinced it can manufacture more units. The same report, sourcing people familiar with the matter, goes on to state how Nintendo has already told suppliers and assembly partners about its plans to churn out even more Switch units in the coming fiscal year, beginning this April. At this stage, no target number has been revealed, and Nintendo will adjust its production accordingly depending on the demand for the system. Currently, Nintendo's plans suggest that there will be a sustained demand for at least another year. A Nintendo spokesperson declined to comment on this latest report. So yeah, I mean, this is really kind of insane information because from what this seems like, it looks like that Nintendo is still planning on carrying out the current Nintendo Switch that we have for even longer than we initially thought. And I know there's so many kind of rumors that we always get about the Switch Pro and the next system and all of that, but now we're hearing that Nintendo might just be carrying on this Nintendo Switch for even longer, which is really crazy because you saw the title of this video which is like, can Nintendo really do the impossible here, which is really keep the system going for an even longer time, because no other video game system has really ever kind of reached this point in its lifespan where it's continued to go on for even more than where we're currently at, because this system came out in early 2017, so we can still count all of 2017, all of 2018, 2019, 2020. Like if we just keep going all the way now, it's already kind of like been about 7 years or so. And then if we're carrying this system into 2024 also, like how long can this system really last? And that's really kind of the big discussion that a lot of people have been talking about. Some people excited about this, saying that this is great, this is perfect. Some people saying like, can we really stick with this current Nintendo Switch for that much longer? So it's a lot of discussion that's going on right now. And I know that there's also this other article which is coming out, which some people are like telling me like this means that there's a new system coming out, which is that apparently this like Nikkei, which is like some like article I think in Japan that came out, which is kind of alluding to that there's going to be a new Nintendo Switch system, or like the Nintendo Switch successor, which is going to be coming out in 2024. So people were talking about this article to me as well, where it says here, the Japanese site Nikkei via Reddit has published an article today in which they report that Nintendo is already in talks with component suppliers to begin production of the Nintendo Switch's successor, which is expected to go on sale mid-2024. So this is kind of weird now, right? Because it seems like both of these articles are kind of contradicting each other. Like this one is saying like there's going to be a Switch 2 which is going to be on sale mid-2024, but like this is saying here that we're still going to be having the current Nintendo Switch lasting even longer. Now people have said that apparently where they're getting all the sources from here, like if you actually look at that Japanese site and what they're sourcing, it seems like that's kind of a lot of just speculation and kind of what they're going off of. Whereas here it seems like Bloomberg does apparently have people that they've talked to, and they would kind of definitely be more in the know with like suppliers and demands and sales forecasts and all of that type of stuff. So I mean, if you want to go off of like credibility, I would definitely say that the Bloomberg one probably has more credibility compared to like this random Japanese site, which I don't really know too much about. But at the end of the day, the big discussion right now is kind of just how we feel about all of this, right? Because the Nintendo Switch has been out for so long. It's already been out for like basically 7 years at this point. And a lot of discussion is kind of going on about, is it really possible for this system to last even longer? Can we still keep this system going? Or is it kind of just time to really move on to the next thing? And should we have another system, or at least just a more powerful Nintendo Switch or something more capable coming out? Because of course we still have games coming out on the Nintendo Switch and all of that is great. But I think one thing that people have also kind of noticed is like some of these games that are coming out now definitely do seem to be very demanding now for the Nintendo Switch. And it just seems like that the hardware power that the Nintendo Switch currently has is holding it back from being able to do even better. And especially with like these types of games like Bayonetta 3 coming out and these other types of games that could definitely benefit having like 60 FPS in terms of its performance for like a fast-paced action type of game like that, and just having like these other big beautiful games that are also coming out with these like big worlds to explore and all of that. Like just with the way that the Nintendo Switch is right now, using the Tegra chip from like 2015, basically, that is a very old Nintendo chip that they're using, basically, or like the very old NVIDIA chip that they're using in Nintendo systems. And if we're going to keep the system going until 2024 and all of that, that chip is going to be like basically a decade old at that point. So is it really possible for them to keep that still going? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but that's really kind of the big discussion, where it's like some people just kind of want to have something more capable so that they can enjoy their games on the Nintendo Switch even more. And I don't know, I feel like it's definitely pretty valid for both sides. Some people also saying like, I just got my Nintendo Switch a couple months ago. I just got it for Christmas with the new Pokemon game or whatever. So, I don't want to have a brand new system come out just immediately after. So I can understand that as well. So yeah, I mean, it's just a big discussion that's kind of going on right now about when exactly this next system could come out now. And with all of this, it seems like maybe Nintendo could actually be lasting the Nintendo Switch all the way in 2023 and potentially even 2024 all the way. And we might not see the next Nintendo system or anything else come out until maybe like 2025 even, where we're going to be seeing that. And really the big reason why I feel like that could be the case is kind of just how the system has already kind of been confirmed support for so long in terms of just other games. And the big thing that I want to talk about that is what we have kind of going on right here with Splatoon 3. So Splatoon 3 came out last year in September. And something very interesting which was said in terms of the Splatoon 3 Direct that happened about the game is that they mentioned that Splatoon 3 is going to receive at least 2 years of support. And if this game came out in 2022, then that means that this game is definitely going to be getting support that's confirmed at least all the way up until the end of 2024. And what that got me thinking is, if like what these rumors are saying here now is that there's going to be a new system coming out on sale mid 2024, would Nintendo really do that in the middle of like having all of this support still going on for games like Splatoon 3 and other games that are still going to be coming out? It just doesn't really seem like it would make a lot of sense. And then at that point, it got me thinking, well, what about Splatoon 1? Because obviously Splatoon 1 was still a thing when like Splatfest and all of that were happening for that game. But what about when the Switch was revealed? Like when exactly did all of that end? So that got me thinking, and I'm actually looking here at Splatfest that happened in the original Splatoon, right? So these are all of the Splatfest that happened inside of Splatoon 1. And of course, the very last one that we had was Callie versus Marie. So I clicked on this one here to take a look, and it says here, it was announced on the 30th of June 2016, and the results were given on July 24th in 2016. So what this means to me is that like at this time here, the 30th of June in 2016, we still didn't know what the NX was. Like we got that NX reveal that happened in October of 2016. So at that point, we basically had all of the Splatfest end for Splatoon 1, and then they revealed the next system, which I feel like would kind of be what they would want to do for this as well, where once we have the final Splatfest for Splatoon 3 and they wrap up everything with that, maybe that's when they're finally going to start kind of gearing towards the next Nintendo Switch or the next gen system, and they reveal that. I don't know, it just feels kind of weird that they would have all of this still going on with support for all these games and reveal a new system or like a new generation in the middle of all of that. So that could maybe be an indicator that, yeah, we could just be stuck with this Nintendo Switch that we currently have for all of this year and potentially even all of next year. And I mean, if we're taking a look right now in terms of sales, this has been updated as of September 30th, 2022, right? So this is still as of September 30th. The Nintendo Switch has sold 114 million units, which is a lot of systems, right? It has already surpassed over 100 million units, but that got me thinking, like, if we're going to have the system on sale for all of this year and potentially even all of next year, can they really sell the system even more? Because obviously, according to these articles, they still have, like, they're convinced that they can manufacture more units and that people are still going to be buying this Nintendo Switch for a while moving forward. And really the thing with that now is it possible for them to keep that momentum going? Because it definitely does seem like to me now that the Switch is definitely kind of getting a little bit kind of slower now in terms of its momentum compared to how it was in like 2017, 2018, 2019, the very first like couple of early years that it had. So that's going to be the biggest thing. And I mean, right now, the big thing that a lot of people are also talking about is what could Nintendo's end game be in terms of its final number that it could have right before the system goes off of the market. Because if we take a look at the best-selling video game consoles of all time right now, the Nintendo Switch, where we have right here from the sales data at 114.33 million, And that puts it at right here, where it's basically at number 5 right now in terms of the best-selling video game system of all time. So I do think though here that since we have this information as of September, since then we've had a brand new generation of Pokemon come out and other games and all of that, I do think when we do get the next sales numbers revealed for the Nintendo Switch, it will probably have surpassed the PlayStation 4, which is at 117 million. And maybe it's even possible that it's surpassed the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, which is at 118 million. But now the big question becomes, is it possible for it to surpass the Nintendo DS and the PlayStation 2? And that's where it gets kind of confusing, because these systems are going to have a big gap here from 120-ish million to 155-ish million. So Nintendo would need to have something that could convince about another 30 million people to have to go out and buy a Nintendo Switch in order to be able to surpass this and become pretty much the best-selling video game console of all time. I definitely do think that it's possible, but I definitely don't think that it's going to be very easy either, because at the same time, I feel like Nintendo has kind of already used up a lot of its big system-selling games, and that's really what the biggest discussion now comes down to, which is, can they still have like these really big, hard-hitting games that are going to sell systems and get people out there to buy a Nintendo system? Because right now, I think we can all say that the biggest game that's kind of on the horizon right now for the Nintendo Switch is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the Breath of the Wild sequel. Of course, Breath of the Wild is one of the best-selling Nintendo Switch games of all time, where if we take a look right here at the top-selling video game units, Breath of the Wild is right here in the top 4 at 27 million games that have been sold for that. So obviously Tears of the Kingdom, I'm sure, is going to sell really well too. But the big question now is, after that, can they still release more games that are so good that people would want to have 30 million more people go out and buy a Nintendo Switch? And that's really where I can kind of say, like, I don't know for sure, because it feels like to me that Nintendo has already kind of used up a lot of its biggest hard-hitting types of titles, right? We already have a Smash Bros. They're definitely not going to do Mario Kart with the Mario Kart DLC still coming out for that. We've already seen a Splatoon game. We've already seen 2 Zeldas. We've already seen 2 new generations of Pokemon. Like, it feels like to me that the only kind of other big hard-hitting game that they could do is something with Mario, right? It's been a really long time with Mario where we've seen like a brand new 3D Mario game, which the last one, of course, was Super Mario Odyssey back in 2017. Maybe they could do like a 2D Mario game, like a new Super Mario Bros. Type of game for the Nintendo Switch, just a brand new one that could kind of maybe come out maybe even earlier into the year, right alongside with the movie coming out with like the Super Mario Bros. Movie. That would be a pretty good idea to actually do that, because some people who will go out and watch the movie might be interested in playing a Mario game and then having a brand new Mario game just right around the corner there. Maybe some people would go out and buy a Nintendo Switch that way. But yeah, I mean, after that, it just kind of comes down to, for the next 2 years, what other huge hard-hitting console selling types of games can Nintendo really come out? Because I don't know, it feels like to me that they've already kind of gotten a lot of these big ones across, but that's kind of the biggest question that a lot of people are wondering. But yeah, that's pretty much what it seems like the state of the Nintendo Switch is going to be for the next couple of years. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see until Nintendo officially tells us kind of what they're planning about the next system and just how they feel about the current Nintendo Switch as well. And I think there is going to be an investors meeting, which is going to be coming up very soon. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what Nintendo's plans are moving forward. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, then definitely be sure to click that like button and also comment down below and let me know what you guys think about this. How would you guys feel if the Nintendo Switch is still going to be on the market for the next 2 years and we might not even see the next system until 2025? Do you think that the Nintendo Switch can still outsell all these other systems and become the best-selling video game system of all time? Do you think that it can actually surpass 155 million? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to have some more Nintendo content in the future, so definitely be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Click on that bell to become a part of the notification squad. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros. And Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.